Good afternoon to members of the head table and those in the audience. As an educator and educators, one of our professional functions is to model behavior. And the institution which I'm a president of, we have been doing that very well. Disaster preparedness and what comes after a disaster. The Dominica Association of Teachers has been conducting workshops on disaster preparedness and coping hereafter as part of our professional development program. This served us well, in good stead, after Tropical Storm Erica. Our 13th biennial conference theme, 2016, impacting behavioral change to combat global warming. Mr. Prime Minister, I hope you remember the very insightful contribution you made to that magazine and other members of the Ministry of Education. Against this background, and bearing in mind our present predicament, the theme selected for our 14th biennial conference, carded for the 4th of April, 2018, is Building Better, Dominica Association of Teachers, equipped for the challenge. We have been equipped for the challenge, and we are pledging our support to this laudable and unique mission which our government and people have decided to embark. We have the firm belief, though, that key to transforming the Commonwealth of Dominica into the world's first climate resilient country, there's some pertinent questions which we must pause, reflect upon, and be resolved to deal with them and have the answers. They fall in the capacity of human, in the category, of human capacity, our humanness. How do we nurture our individual or the individual with a critical mindset? An individual ready to assume personal responsibility and not find an excuse to blame anyone or anything for behavior. An individual committed to a national consciousness of country first and building country. An individual who will reflect on the questions: what makes me a Dominican? What are my distinguishing characteristics as a Dominican? Am I pleased with the Dominican personality? And I pose this question in the context of the CARICOM Treaty, wherein there's a charter outlining the Caribbean person. What CARICOM wants of a Caribbean person. At this juncture, I pause and I ask that while we go through the process of building a resilient country, that it might be necessary as a Dominican people to initiate a Dominican charter as to what we expect of every Dominican who has attended school and leaving school. We did make mention of some of the solutions, like the impact of having solar energy, solar panels. The Dominica Community High School, the school which I head, there were 20 plus solar panels on our school. The last bill we paid was $5 to Domlec. The panels were in place after the hurricane. The second day I got to the school, the panels were ripped off. We have only about 4 or 5 left. And I asked myself, and we have to ask ourselves, what factors draw individuals to such destruction? We will get them back. My next question or my next suggestion is, an examination of the status quo of our stewardship, Mother Dominica. Remember, I started by saying, as educators, we model behavior. All of us are to model behavior. The Prime Minister rightly said that the process that we are starting, it will go across all generations. And what we are starting and what we are going to do, we need the generations following us to sustain and to continue. Else, it will be, as the Trinidadians say, old mass. So we have to bear that in mind, each one of us. What is the quality of our stewardship? The Commonwealth of Dominica. The second one I would look at is institutional sustainability. And some individuals did make mention about strengthening our institutions. Yes, we are going to set up creed, but we have to look at our individual institutions, which are already there. Some of them have served us well, but some of them are lacking. And we need to analyze and see where we can improve the sustainability, the life, and effectiveness and efficiency of those institutions. The Dominica Association of Teachers, we started work right after the hurricane. Thank God, prior to that, we had retrofitted our building, again, modeling behavior, and Maria did nothing to the building. But of course, there was human intervention, which we dealt with. Since then, we have been invited by our friends in North America and elsewhere, and a program for IT Dominica, IT project for Dominica, is on the way. Individuals have made mention of communication at that time. And this is one of the things that we are looking at when schools have been selected for this project, that they will serve as a conduit of communication to others. The third point I would like us to look at is, somebody did make mention prior to me, the use of churches as shelters. As an educator, as an individual who had children, who have children, and would want to know what happens to my child's education after such a disaster is, we had mass migration of our children, mass migration, because the important thing is what is going to happen to the children when the schools are occupied. It is a thin line. We have to think about the human aspect of it. But we also have to know that after a while, that the schools need to be vacated so schools can go on. We have to do that. It is a rough policy. It's a policy we have to sit and look at. I know that I've heard the pal-reps of different constituencies, if you're going to put my people under a tent. But the students are under tents, and the teachers are under tents. In one school, the teachers are being threatened, seriously threatened, because they're not occupying their building yet. I had to deal with that on Friday. And it leaves a lot to be desired, that individuals we have put through the education system is now threatening teachers who are willing to go to their schools to do work to and for the children. We know that the teachers of the Commonwealth of Dominica are doing well and have done well, and I conclude with that. Our children went as far as North America, Jamaica, England, and you name it. And the reports which I have received as president of the Dominica Association of Teachers and member of the Caribbean Union of Teachers is that the Dominican children were real ambassadors to the Commonwealth of Dominica. It's rich to the fact where one of my good friends in Antigua, she wants to keep the children at her school because she has about 30 such. And I told her, no, you will send back our children for us. Our friends in the Ministry of Education, especially, I have to announce here Miss Karen Best, my friend in Barbados, Chief Education Officer. I know she did a lot for. She's also a past member of the Caribbean Union of Teachers and a past president of our association. So I leave these considerations with you that, yes, we move forward to ensure that this country is resilient in mortar, in stone, in bridges, in building. But we need to be a resilient people in the values. And I beg that, like CARICOM, we have a charter outlining the type of individual who would like to be called a Dominican. Thank you very much.